Everybody, we are back. It is Safe to Launch Favorites Podcast, Favorites Channel, Favorites Everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL for me, at Glen Rockney for Glen, and of course PandaSubs.com TDL discount code for 35% off. All right, Glenn. So we're gonna be talking some training camps again. I mean, we're deeper in it now. I mean, we got more information, more things going on here, basically. So how you feeling, man?
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind following it. I've had to educate Raider Nation that maybe Vic Tafer's play-by-play shouldn't dictate you becoming a general manager and deciding that the Raiders need to make drastic trades because a drop happened in a 7-on-7 or 11-on-11 drill. But it sounds like there's a dang battle happening on that field. Like, it's really back and forth. There's battles at the quarterback position. The defense seems like it's really the alpha, which that's what we were all hoping. And then there's a couple couple interesting surprises that we're going to talk about here.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, it's definitely a defensive team. I mean, we need to get to that point. I mean, there's really no way around that. I mean, it's clearly a defensive team. You can't even get around it when your coach is not yelling at the offense when they're struggling. But as soon as the defense starts struggling, he starts yelling at them. Yeah. What he does, you know what I'm saying? Starts yelling at the offense, like the defense automatically tells you what type of team we have, right? I mean, the offense not playing good. I don't know why they didn't bother him. I mean, they've been struggling for most of camp. He didn't care. As soon as the offense started moving the ball on, I believe it was Tuesday.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah. Or maybe it was Wednesday. I mean, they started moving the ball on Wednesday. Pierce is yelling at them, and he's trying to get those guys ready. And of course, they picked it back up, which is kind of what I saw the first time I went. I mean, they had a good start, and then it felt like they got yelled at, and then the offense had no chance after that. So we're definitely on a defensive football team. I mean, that's number one that I've learned.
I mean, you hire Antonio Pierce. You have Patrick Graham, who is, in my opinion, one of the better defensive minds in the league. What he did last year, there was definitely talent on the team, but what he did last year, kind of elevating the talent on that defense, let it be known that adding a difference maker like Christian Wilkins, hopefully development from Tyree Wilson, development from Byron Young, these people that can round out the rotations at their position groups. You hope that this is a defensive team because we know that they still need the quarterback.
Yeah,
they might have a quarterback. They might have a quarterback that can do a few things. They still need the quarterback. So I get it, right? I get it. If that offense is struggling, I think everybody on that sideline, even though coaches get so honed in, they tend to think everybody on their team can be great.
Mm-hmm.
They know. They understand how this team's constructed.
Yeah. It's a defensive football team, and they're going to try to run the football, do those type of things, and play defense. I mean, it's going to be focused that way. That's the expectation. I even think there's higher expectations from the coaching staff itself for the defense. You know what I mean? Like, the expectations are so much higher for them than the offense from the coaching staff. Yeah. So they're expecting them to kind of carry the way, and they're kind of expecting the offense just to get it done on the other side. I think that's the expectation of the year, and that's how it's going through in camp. But the offense is getting better, which is something to get excited about. At least they're starting to move the ball a little bit once the pads have come on.
Yeah, but like I said, it's not. I said it on the last time. It's not like the Raiders' first-team offense is struggling, where there's on the other side of the field you have Curtis Lofton or like Frosty Rucker. Like, there's good players on that defense to where it makes sense. I definitely feel like it just makes sense that this is the narrative right now. I think Ted Wynn said it best, was like, I'd actually be more concerned if the offense was just shredding this defense.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of fans kind of want that, or they think they want that, but that's just not the way this team is built, and for that to happen, that would mean this defense stinks.
Yeah, 100%. And we don't want that to happen. We need the defense to be really good. But that's the thing. I think the highlight of all of this through camp is that this defense is going to be pretty damn good. I saw
Yeah.
Kirk Morrison's tweet. Kirk Morrison said that the Patrick Graham he's in a third year and that defense is just moving around. And then his second, he said, number two, that's why the quarterbacks haven't really separated themselves because the defense is out there dominating. And I think, we just have to look at this year just a little bit different. We're so expecting the offense just to carry everything, but I think it's going to get more to this defense is carrying this football team, and the offense just has to not get in the way. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of the way to look at this.
That's that. If they're going to win, they're going to win with Antonio Pierce as head coach, and they're going to win by taking the ball away from the other team, frustrating them, beating them mentally, beating them physically, punching them in the mouth on offense. Now, I do have a concern with the run game. I do. That's my biggest concern right now. Mm-hmm. People have concerns about Minshew versus O'Connell. That is what it is, in my opinion. But the run game, I'm kind of like, okay, that has to be there for this to all work. And that's the one where I look at the running backs. I look at them saying Alexander Madison appears to be this amazing, or not amazing, having this great camp. And I'm like, okay, why isn't Zamir White taking that? Why isn't Zamir White? Every press conference, they come out and they say, yeah, he's learning. I'm like, learning? Year 3 in the league. Like, this is when you take the reins. The running back, they grow up fast. Running backs grow up fast.
Yeah.
So that's the part that I'm a little concerned about.
Well, I think Getsy did talk about him in his interview he did with Vic Tafur, Sean Reed, and Ted Gwen. He did talk about how Zamir White is looking a little bit better in the passing game a little bit. So maybe they have some expectations there. Maybe they're not talking about him too much because, to be fair, they do have to get asked about Zamir White for them to talk about Zamir White a little bit. But and when I was there, I thought Zamir White looked pretty fresh. He looks pretty big. I kind of expect him to take most of the load. Madison, I did see that tweet today about Madison, and he was catching passes as well, but I've seen his history. He can't catch. So I'm not going to worry. I mean, I'm going to go off what your history has shown us.
Sure.
Right?
No, I agree. That's why it's scary if he's having the camp, like, to me, that I guess that's what I mean. Like, if he's popping out to everybody, not everybody, but you know what I mean? Like, if he's popping out, and obviously Laube, but Laube's a third down guy. So that's just a different thing. So, but again, we're going to talk about all this. So
Exactly. So, kind of the rundown, you guys can see it. So, we're, of course, in the main conversation, we got to have every single damn week until they name a quarterback competition. DJ Glaze.
Yeah.
DJ Glaze is rising.
We need a producer tag for him, dude. DJ, like DJ Fresh back in the day. You know what I mean? Like DJ, any Bay Area person's going to know the DJ Fresh. Like, they're gonna know that you need that with DJ Glaze. We might need it if he's that good. If he's rising the way that he's rising.
Yeah, I mean, DJ Glaze does sound like a Midwest DJ. It sounds like a DJ.
He definitely does. He's throwing shows for 65 people on Facebook.
DJ Glaze.
Facebook group. Everybody rolls through from the Facebook group to the Underground Rap Show.
All right, Dylan Lobby. Hype continues. So that is growing. Paying Nate Hobbs, because Nate Hobbs is having a good camp. I kind of want to have that conversation. The Trey Tucker drops is a big conversation. So we're going to talk about should they add another wide receiver. I know they added the one dude from Alameda, whatever the hell he's from.
Keelan Doss.
There you go. Keelan Doss, you know what I'm talking about. And surprise cuts.
4.740, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Yeah. Surprise cuts. So we're going to talk about that today. Some of our conversations here. But yeah, so QB competition. Let's just start there, man. QB competition here. We'll get to your questions after this. So get your questions in the comments, guys. If you guys are here being interactive with us, just ask your questions. I am starring your questions, and we'll get to your questions. So definitely keep asking those questions for us, and we'll get to them for sure. But we'll start with quarterback competition. Minshew had a good day on Wednesday, I believe. And I guess he started to kind of take the reins because the offense was moving the ball a little bit. I did hear he was throwing a lot of ducks. It wasn't very impressive, but he was moving the ball. Right. But today, O'Connell had the day. So, I mean, it is kind of back and forth right now with these quarterbacks. I think they're starting to find their groove on offense. So we're starting to see them kind of, start to take the next step of what they need to do
Mm-hmm.
to become a starting quarterback. But I think it's going to be tough. I mean, Minshew has to keep stacking days where he's better than
Mm-hmm.
Aiden O'Connell. He's got to stack a couple, like maybe the game too. We got to stack the game too as well to beat him out, because every single beat writer that's outside of the Raiders right now, they're saying Aiden O'Connell has his job basically. That's where they feel like Pierce is going to go favoritism with him just because out of loyalty, right? Which makes a little sense. But you still see Minshew is giving him a battle in practice, but AOC he had a really good day today. Minshew had a good day the day before. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's been interesting. I first off, I just wish, I know this can't happen, I wish we could combine them. I wish we could combine Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell, because it sounds like Gardner Minshew on 2-minute drill seems like he has it, which goes with your critique of Aiden O'Connell, that the clutch is what we
Yeah.
need to see. That kind of, I need a touchdown. Can you do it?
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of feels like Gardner Minshew can play you out of that scenario, unfortunately, where it's like he can play you out of the I need a touchdown at the end. He could play you out of, actually, we're losing by 30 because you've made some really bad plays. So he can play you out of that. And I wish there was a way to have that maverick mentality of Minshew, but O'Connell is able to make the throw, I feel
Yeah.
like today in camp, I think he hit Trey Tucker from what it seems like a beautiful throw, like just an absolute dime. And it just seemed like that turned heads. It seemed like that. And O'Connell does make those kind of throws. And that's why there's optimism around him. You're like, man, when he gets that throw right, it just looks beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I expect Gardner Minshew to play a lot in the preseason. I mean, both of them are going to play, and I expect Gardner Minshew as a veteran to just shred in the preseason. And I think
Yeah.
the hype on his end is going to get really high, like really high. And if he doesn't get the job, people are going to go, "What the hell?" Like outside of the Raiders. But as fans, I think a lot of us understand that O'Connell probably down to down still is the guy, but that 2-minute drill stuff with Minshew is kind of makes me envious, and I wish O'Connell could absorb some of that.
Yeah. I mean, you make a good point there. Just because if you combine the two, that's what you really need. You just need
A
Aiden
good
O'Connell to be better in
quarterback.
the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, especially the movement. You just need to be a better quarterback in the fourth quarter. Let's keep it real. I mean, that's really what it is. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I mean, just from my going back through the film, just through my brain, I mean, in the fourth quarter, he never really put through his best performance. It's like, because the Miami game, let's say if Aiden O'Connell was clutch, man, the season would have been a lot different, right?
Yeah.
No matter how he played, he went through all those picks in that game. They had an opportunity, man. It was 2013. They had a drive. They're at the time they can get the ball down the field and maybe tie the game, maybe take the lead, going for two, or being crazy or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in the same thing with the Vikings game, those two games, if he would have showed more in the fourth quarter, then we're looking at him different altogether. Let's keep it real. It's just those two games. Like, they had an
I know.
opportunity. He had the drive, right? And he can go right down the field. You got to make those plays. So you just want to see that from him. And Minshew has shown that more throughout his NFL career. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're a Raiders fan, I mean, the last game in Oakland, I mean, it was definitely Minshew being clutch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those are those type of things that you see more from Minshew than you see from O'Connell. But I think you're right. O'Connell's more steady and
Mm-hmm.
just more easier to get through. So when we talk about like maybe the beat writers are seeing it, the coaches might be seeing it a lot different, because just how he stays on schedule and keeps things going.
It's tough to build an offense around Gardner Minshew. That's like always been the issue. It's tough to say like Gardner Minshew's going to run my offense. It's like, no, Gardner Minshew's going to, you hired Gardner Minshew to do Gardner Minshew things. That's what, when you sign him, that's what it is. So it's tough for him to just be like, oh, I'm going to run the Getsy offense, where I think O'Connell can. And that's why I think O'Connell is going to get the job. But I am a little envious of that Maverick style of play at times with Gardner Minshew, because at times you just have to do that.
Yeah. We got a Niners troll in here.
I mean, you're on a Friday night, like, as a Niner fan, right? You're as a Niner fan, you're on a Friday night. You're in a Raiders live stream, not during the season. Come on. That's a Bay Area guy who's mad the Raiders moved to Vegas, by the way. He's a Niner fan now. Converted fan. Telling you right now. I know these people. I work with them.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to – it's sometimes when I talk about AOC, like, I'm not trying to knock him or say anything like that, or trying to get on him. It is a critique for me because I just feel like if he's better in the fourth quarter, we're not even talking about Minshew. We're not even talking about drafting anybody if he's better in the fourth quarter in those moments. So, yeah, that is a thing. Like, you got as a quarterback, people don't like to talk about this. I mean, we like to just throw out like the stats and the EPA and whatever kind of nerdy stuff we like to do. But man, the fourth quarter, that's when quarterbacks need to be great, and that's when it comes into playoffs. Like, right, we talk about those quarterbacks in the playoffs. You got to be great there. Like, you got the ball in your hand. We're not running. You know what I mean? Like, we're passing.
Yeah, exactly.
The ball's in your hand. You got to go get it done, no matter what. Like, it doesn't even like make sense of how you get it done. You got to go get it done. Like, the play call doesn't matter, in my opinion. Like, you either have it at that moment or you don't. So those are key for quarterbacks. That's literally what separates the good ones from the great ones. Right. And it
you either have it or you don't. You either have it or you don't, and it's tough to develop it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, Kirk Cousins has made a lot of money. He's never really developed the thing that you need. You could be Aiden O'Connell might play for 15 years in the league. He might. I don't know, as a starter. I mean, he might not be as a starter, but he might play in the league for 15 years. It's just, are you going to ever have, and the Minshew, like, I feel like only has that, you know, and it's just like, man, you just get in that weird thing where it's like, I wish we found a way. I wish we found a way to combine these guys. And I feel like we'd have a solid starter, you know, like a solid starter, which, to be fair, last year it was Jimmy G. So I think both of these guys are better than Jimmy G.
Yeah,
just that they are. So do they start in the sluggish manner that they did the way they had with Jimmy G? Because they had so many opportunities to jump back in games, like against the Lions, against like a lot of these games where they just could just jump, Steelers, where they just could have jumped back into these games. You talk about the games that O'Connell lost in the fourth quarter, but the games that Jimmy G lost in the second quarter are the ones that piss me off more than anything.
Jimmy G's interception percentage last year was 5%, dog.
Damn. That's crazy, dude. If I had to, you know, that's like, that's crazy. He's a 5%er, dude.
For real. Oh my god. Yeah, man. Peace to the God. So
that's what he was doing, of course. Yeah, it was.
That's exactly what Jimmy G was doing. He's a 5%er. But I remember I looked at that the other day. I was like, bro, 5% is crazy. It's like he basically just threw picks for the Raiders. And that's the thing when we talk about O'Connell here, right? We talk about O'Connell. He was so much better than that I think, you know, at times, you know, people try to knock him for exactly what happened last year. And the biggest knock is the Chiefs game. We talk about it. The reason why people don't like O'Connell is the Chiefs game because he didn't complete a pass for 3 quarters. I mean, they won the game though, but still, you know, I always feel like if that was Joe Burrow, like nobody would care. He didn't complete a pass.
Well, then O'Connell had the game they lost. I thought he played well.
Exactly.
You know, against the Chiefs, where Jacobs opens it up with the big run, and they just couldn't stop Mahomes. Mahomes, unfortunately, at Allegiant Stadium, Mahomes just is a touchdown every drive. It's just, unfortunately, that's the case. But again, they won the game. He didn't turn the ball over in that Chiefs game. So if you could talk about how bad of a game he had, he didn't turn the ball over against the Chiefs on Christmas, which was, that defense was red hot, and that's, you know. Can he build off that? Of course. You know, of course he can.
Yeah, he's got a that's where it's at. To me, he's got to be more clutch. But I still think he's gonna be the starter week 1, right? And I
Yeah.
mean, and Justin Herbert is hurt, so that week 1 game, he might get a fresh start. We saw what happened to Easton Stick last time. So,
Is he still the backup there?
yeah, him and Max Duggan, bro.
How did he survive this many? Easton Stick is the guy you keep around.
I mean,
that's crazy.
Lad's hurt too. Lad's hurt. Yeah, Lad got hurt. Joey Bosa got hurt too.
You're telling me for the first time? Oh my gosh, Joey! I mean, that's the thing is, this is the Chargers. All this hype. It's like, and then everyone gets really shocked when they have injuries. How unfortunate! It's like maybe it's what they are.
Man.
Yeah.
All those design runs in practice. I knew
that was the worst offensive coordinator pairing with a quarterback I've seen in many years. Herbert can run. He's got a big arm and can run. I get it. But if you want to turn him in, I mean, he hurt. Lamar Jackson got hurt under Greg Roman. What do you think is going to happen to Justin Herbert?
I'm sorry, man.
It was crazy. We all knew it. We all knew it.
He's going to try to make him Kaepernick. I knew it. Design runs. Then he gets hurt. We don't know when he got hurt. Yeah, he probably got hurt on the design run, bro. That's probably what happened.
100%.
Oh, my God. All right. But, yeah, the quarterback competition, it's really going to come down to the games, I think. But I don't know. I still feel like O'Connell, we saw how he played last preseason, though. Right?
Balled out. Hey, he balled out.
I think he's going to play pretty well again.
Yeah.
It's not going to be tough for him. I mean, he's had good games versus like ones, right? So, I mean, that's what we talk about Minshew and O'Connell, which is going to be tough to gauge them because, I mean, they both have proven that they could be halfway decent starting quarterbacks in the NFL, right? So, in preseason, it's going to be like Davis Mills. Like Davis Mills, he was just like last night, right? Like it was, yeah, because he's actually won some games in the NFL, so it's not going to be like crazy for him. So I think it's gonna be hard to separate these guys in the games too. It's gonna be all dependent on who throws picks or not, basically in the game. So
it's the only team that's like that. I feel like maybe the Broncos, but the Broncos at least have a drafted quarterback like Bo Nix, who's young, to where it's like there's kind of a ranking among Zach Wilson versus Bo Nix, which LOL. But the with the Raiders, it's like, no, it is these two guys that are actually competing, which we around the league, you just don't see much after these first round runs on quarterbacks. So it's gonna be interesting. They're gonna get a lot of attention in preseason because of that, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's the only quarterback battle that exists. I mean, unless you go like Sam Darnold, JJ McCarthy, I guess.
Right, but again, those are that's like a first round pick versus like a kind of washed out former first round pick. But O'Connell is like against Minshew, they're more, those guys are closer in what they are, I think. So it's interesting.
Yeah, for sure, man. Let's get some of these questions here. I got some
people at the chat is active. That Niner fan woke everybody up.
Yeah, shout out to him, man. Shout out to him.
I like it. I like it. I had to call him out. He knows I'm right. He was a former Raider fan. That's why you click on this stream.
Great say defensive team with Adams, Bowers, Byers. What more so do they need? I mean, to be honest, it's all about me. For me, is Antonio Pierce yelling at the defense. I was there. Okay, guys. The offense was struggling. Nobody cared. And the defense struggles for half a practice. They're getting yelled at. That's all you need to know. I mean, somebody has higher expectations than the other. Like, why are you losing to this offense?
That's a linebacker, man. That's a linebacker head coach. He is a linebacker.
Yeah. Is Patrick Graham the first coach from the BP tree to work out? I mean, Brian Flores is still pretty damn good.
Brian Flores is. I mean, we lost 3-0 to him. He was off the hook in that game. The Brian Flores. People give Bill O'Brien a bad rap, dude. He was a good head coach. When they gave him the GM sticks, that's when it got all bad. But he was Bill O'Brien was a good head coach. He had the Texans in the playoffs year in, year out.
100%. Yeah. But Bill O'Brien was pretty good head coach. Terrible GM. See?
Yeah, no, they gave him way too much jurisdiction, way too much rule over that franchise, which it happens.
Yeah, when you want to trade DeAndre Hopkins, it gets crazy. You're stupid. It's
for like David Johnson. Insane.
David. Insane. What's the starting D line? Who's next to who? I think this is the starting D line.
You got it. Yeah, you got it.
I really do. It's interesting. It's a good question because, my boy Ari, he sent me a video of how Antonio Pierce is talking about DJ Glaze and how he was talking about Tyree Wilson. Tyree Wilson definitely seems like he's a backup right now. Like
for sure.
It doesn't seem like he's to be rotating inside.
No, he's a backup defensive end right now.
Yeah, I mean, see, this goes two ways though, because Josh McDaniels was not expecting Malcolm Kuntz to take off like that, but I still always felt like if Malcolm Kuntz got the snaps that he deserved, that would happen, right? But they weren't expecting that, so let's be fair to that. But Kuntz is the reason why Tyree Wilson's not playing. So, you could be mad at the pick, kind of, and it was a waste of a pick, and they could have been like, well, he should have played Kuntz the whole time. But that's really what's happening right now. Is Malcolm Kuntz is not letting that dude play.
Yeah, they are speaking about Tyree in a very political sense, though. Like I will say, the way they're speaking about him is Adam Butler had a very candid press conference today. Adam Butler, I'd be watch out for him this year, because if he wants to take off, he's going to be sacking the quarterback. I'm all in on Adam Butler, but he was talking about Tyree. He was just like, he just needs to take baby steps. And it's like, oh, I see where we're at with Tyree Wilson. And I'm a fan of Tyree Wilson. He's too big to fail, in my opinion. Like he's this big, he's massive. Like, it has to work. I
don't get it. I feel the same way, bro. Like, how are you that big?
Yeah, exactly. But then I remember they said Tyree Wilson, that Max Crosby wouldn't pick him for his basketball team, which if you're that big, I should be picking you as on my basketball team. They say he's too stiff. I said, damn, that sucks. Which to me, that's a guy that should play a little more inside. I don't know, to me, but I don't know that I trust Patrick Graham. I trust Rob Leonard. I trust these guys. And you're right in the fact that Kuntz has the job and he's probably in for a huge payday. So that is happening, but I also think Tyree's a little behind what they want him to be.
100%. All right. Is it time to sound an alarm with both starting left tackle and left injured guard not getting reps in camp? Both seem to be struggling under QB's supposed to be struggling under duress. I can't read right now. But all right, I feel this way. So I think JPJ is a little concerning.
Yeah.
Because he's a rookie, right? Colt Miller doesn't bother me as much. As long as Colt Miller plays week 1, I think they'll be fine. He's played in every system. He's played wide zone. He's been good. He's played power. He's been good. We'll be fine with Colt Miller. It's more with JPJ. He's just never played in the NFL, right? He needs to be blocking Adam Butler. He needs to be blocking Christian Wilkins, right? Just to kind of get those reps, kind of get a feel. He's supposed to come back pretty soon, but it is a little concerning. My dude Ryan Holm was talking about how he's playing. He was playing right guard in college. He's never played left guard. It's a totally different position. We need those reps from him. And to me, it's not even about like run blocking so much, because I feel like he'll be fine there. It don't matter. It's more about pass blocking, picking up stunts, understanding those things from just a mental processing perspective from being an offensive lineman. But yeah, I'm not worried about Colt Miller. Colt Miller's fine. To me, he's so good. I think he's so underrated that there's really no reason for him to even like go through camp right now, because as long as he understands what to do in the offensive line, we'll be fine. I think JPJ does need the reps. Like he's got to play in a game. You know what I mean? Like there's got to be some kind of reps that he gets early on that can make you feel more comfortable with him. But Colt Miller, I'm not as worried about.
No, I agree with you. It's a bummer, but we're starting to realize why he was there in the second round. Like I feel like it was a thing people knew, and it's unfortunate. And he's a guy that I expected right away to kind of hit the ground running out of almost everybody. I mean, Brock Bowers, I expected the same, but I kind of expected him to hit the ground running. as the left guard on this team. And I at this point, it's tough to even put that on him at this point now, to say now you need to be the starting left guard and be NFL starting year one without a training camp. And maybe he comes in and does that, but it is concerning. And unfortunately, it's a tough. I don't regret the pick. I don't think it's a bad pick at all. I still don't think it's a bad pick. I think that's a good risk to take, and it's good that they're doing this. I just hate that it's the situation. Like, it's good that they're not rushing him back. However, I hate that this is the situation. I hate that we're going to probably get Andrews Pete at left guard.
Oh man, or Cody Whitehair. Don't even remind me about
That's
that.
what I mean. I mean, granted, there's worse scenarios to be in, I think, to be honest, than those two guys, despite the way they've played the last couple of years. There are worse scenarios. Like, you could be undrafted at that position, like undrafted, like scab kind of guy. Like you could be there. At least you have guys that have like played NFL football. Now, no, but I mean, again, it's not great. I'm with you on Miller. With Miller, we're at the point in his career. This is what, year 7 or 8 for him at this point.
Yeah.
This is when tackles start to become a little like, kind of like, I'm a little hurt. This doesn't work the way it used to. We've gotten some great years out of him. He's a fantastic tackle, and we just need to make sure he's ready to go.
Exactly, 100%. All right, last question. Can we trust Tucker's hands? I mean, I don't know. I mean, in college, he had a good drop percentage. I don't know what's wrong with that dude. I don't know. Sometimes it's just concentration. You know what I mean?
He might be just trying to do more. Like, I feel like he's trying to be a complete receiver, which is funny because I don't necessarily need him to be a complete receiver in terms of my comp for him. I think right now, for what I'm seeing, is like Brandon. I don't know if you remember Brandon Lloyd. Brandon Lloyd was such a frustrating wide receiver, but he would make some of the craziest plays and would change a game on one play. But then he would also kind of like, oh, we needed that, dude. Oh, we needed that. What are you doing? Like, he was also that guy. So I kind of think he might be more that guy, which is totally fine. Pick 100, you know what I mean, of the draft. And can we trust him? Is it third and Tucker? I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I think he's the 4th option on this team. And I think it's a very high upside 4th option.
Yeah. This guy asked me with all my white boy hoods who could win in a free-for-all.
Free-for-all of what? I can't be mad at football, but what I mean,
I mean, I do want to say I did ask my boy Corey to do a show. I just want to say that. I just want to put that out there.
That's fine. But what's the free-for-all?
I don't know, man. I don't know what the free-for-all is.
I mean, again, I don't think Matt is like a former defensive lineman, right? No, that's not happening.
Yeah, he is.
What am I going to block him? I'm going to pin pull?
Yeah. Matt has a whole sleeve too. I didn't, So yeah,
he's a sneaky one of those like sneaky little like rush the pet, like just knock you over in the grocery store guys.
He's sneaky crazy, you know what I mean?
Help you up after,
Oh man.
Fighting.
Right.
Yeah, no, I can't beat Matt up. He's probably way bigger than me. Yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah. Matt was defensive lineman in college. He was.
Yeah, he talks about it. I've heard him talk about it.
Yeah. All right. What was I talking about? Oh, so DJ Glaze.
Yeah.
He is rising. Right. And it's mostly because Thayer Mumford got hurt. And then DJ Glaze, he came in there. He did pretty good against Max Crosby. I guess Max Crosby got offended today and kicked his ass. But still, DJ Glaze came in there and held his own with against Max Crosby. Now, to me, this is a great thing. This is not like a bad thing to kind of be like, oh, what's wrong with Thayer Mumford? To me, it's more like, okay, Thayer Mumford got hurt. And then DJ Glaze comes in and actually looks pretty damn good. And that's actually should make us happy about like how this draft is going.
Mm-hmm.
Because most of these players in the draft have looked good in camp so far, right? And I know it's early and it's just camp, and I talked about Jerron Kreiner the other day on Tuesday. You
Ron
know,
Kreiner.
so yeah, we got to chill out on the draft picks in camp. But still, with that said, DJ Glaze coming out there holding his own against one of the best pass rushers in the league
Yeah.
should not be, downplayed. We should be excited about that, because that was a little bit of an issue that I thought he would have, is handling speed rushers, right? And if he's out there holding his own and he's making it a battle, that's not an issue for me.
No, it's interesting because as people are saying in the chat, I agree. That was the one pick I was like, that was kind of the one Cleveland Farrell face gif pick that I had where I was like, God, what, but he's got long arms. And that's the thing. Guys with long arms that play tackle stay in the league a long time. Brandon Parker's on the Niners right now. Like he's going on the same amount of time that Colton Miller's been in the league. Brandon Parker's been in the league, not to the same degree of success, but he's been in the league. Guys that have long arms, athletic and stuff, they stay in the league. Now, I think it's funny because you can tell he was actually kind of kicking Max's ass a little bit, because Max turns into Denzel at the end of training day when he gets his butt kicked, which is great, which is what we love about Max Crosby. But he really gets monologue, like I'm being held, and all that stuff. No, DJ Glaze, if I'm not mistaken, has 35-inch arms. Like he is he's got the traits there, and that seems to be something that's helping him out. And man, that would come in clutch with Colton Miller aging, Jackson Powers-Johnson coming, maybe not being quite ready to be the Jackson Powers-Johnson we thought when they drafted him. If he's able to come in and help somewhere, doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be pretty, but if he's able to just kind of like keep whoever's under center upright, that would be really nice.
Yeah, because especially if DJ Glaze can come in there, man, and play pretty well. I don't know how it worked out in the run game, but for him even to come up and be mentioned by some of the sports writers, that means he was doing some things out there, right? He was actually making a name for himself. He's a pretty big guy, man. I thought his legs were a little more skinnier than I thought on an offensive lineman, but obviously it's helping him in some type of way. But he's gone out there, held his own, making a name for himself. I think that's important, because if you have this kind of draft where you didn't take a right tackle early, right? I mean, that was a big thing. They took Brock Bowers, right? Everybody's mad they didn't take Fuaga or Fatanu. I heard Fatanu was blocking up TJ Watt. I'm sure Raiders fans didn't know that, but I just
he's been balling in their camp. He has been.
Yeah, he's been balling out there in their camp, and all these guys that could have took a right tackle and they took Brock Bowers. If DJ Glaze ends up being pretty damn good, it kind of makes up for that, right? So you got to be a little excited about his outlook. And just a rookie class overall. I think you got to be a little excited about that. But hearing that he was doing okay against Max Crosby, that means that there's something there. I'm not gonna lie.
Exactly. He wasn't just a absolute traffic cone, and that's kind of where I thought he was going to be a developmental guy. Because again, when he got drafted, I was like, who? But then I saw the arm length. And I said, okay, well, the arm length, I see why they might think there's something there. And he has some good games in college, like where he looked like he was really dominating the pass rusher and all that. But, some guys, some O-line coaches, some people, Telesco, maybe credit to Telesco here, might see something and go, dang, that's something we can work with. He might see just one thing, and that's why these guys are paid to be GMs. They might see just one thing and go, I can make that into this. And I heard his press conference, and I'm a sucker for the press conference, but he seems like a really cool guy, seems really level-headed. He does not seem like a rookie. Like he was commandeering everything. Like he was talking about singing and all that stuff. And I hope he doesn't have to play early, because that means something went wrong, right? Like I hope he doesn't have to, but they have some depth, I think, on that line, where we might be scared of it right now. But again, you have some guys who have played meaningful snaps in NFL, and then you have a something at tackle in DJ Glaze. And this draft class could be really good if he's good.
Yeah, because we're not talking about the tight ends today, but the tight ends are balling, right? I mean, it's
Brock is crazy. I mean, Brock might be like really good. I'm like right away.
Yeah, exactly. And Michael Mayer is balling too. That's the thing. They're both balling. They're probably the best two offensive players in camp are Michael Mayer and Brock Bowers.
Really quick with no explanation. Fantasy draft. Who do you draft first? Brock or Michael Mayer?
I take Brock. I take Brock.
Interesting.
Because
I think Mayer. I think Michael Mayer. I think he's gonna get more touchdowns this year.
Yeah. Because I think Brock is gonna get more receptions and more touches. Just for me being at camp and watching him take balls out of the
he moves different, dude. Like he's got like that he does not lose speed when he changes direction. Like it's crazy. Yeah. It is crazy. I think Mike's gonna be a red zone merchant, dude. I just do. Under Getsy. I just do.
That tight end group is crazy. It is. Really is.
Harrison Bryant's solid too. I mean, he's a solid tight end. Like that's Cole. Someone's gonna come up on Cole Fotheringham. Like another team is gonna like get him because it sounds like he's pretty decent too. But like another team's gonna pick him up because he's just not gonna make the Raiders. I don't think it's crazy. But anyways,
yeah, man. I mean, there's a lot. We'll get to surprise cuts. I feel like it's getting more defined here as we go through this. So, Hondo said Jakobi Meyers is gonna be all pro.
I mean, I love Hondo, but that's just that's a Hondo take. That's okay.
I mean, if you wanted to make Davante Adams bad,
yeah. Look, Jakobi Meyers is really good. There's a weird thing about him that some people just can't accept, but like he's an elite number 2 in my opinion. Like just he does all the dirty work, he blocks, he catches. I mean, he was pissing me off at the beginning of the year last year, even though he was scoring touchdowns. He like couldn't find the first down line. Like he would do things like that. But man, I didn't really have any problems with him after that. He was really good.
I mean, because all pro is like it's like 1,500 yards. You know what I mean? Like that's it's like
I don't think that's going to be the case. All pro Bowl. We could Pro Bowl. There's a discussion to be had.
I mean, if Jakobi Meyers makes all pro, what is O'Connell? Like O'Connell makes a Pro Bowl.
Yeah, that means O'Connell's Kurt Warner.
O'Connell is balls.
Just became Kurt Warner.
4,500 yards.
Yeah, it's just like we can't stop this guy. We cannot stop him.
Yeah, man. O'Connell
scoring 47 points a game, then nobody can beat the Raiders.
O'Connell just like it's talk of the league. Yeah, we didn't even talk. If Jakobi Meyers makes all pro,
no, honestly, what it means is Devontae Adams got hurt early in the year, and Jakobi Meyers played really well. That's really what that means.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. He probably did. People are saying he met Pro Bowler. I'm pretty sure.
Pro Bowl. No. I can. Jakobi Meyers Pro Bowl. There's a conversation. I wouldn't view it as likely. The way he plays is very selfless. So I don't know that Pro Bowl is going to be the way. But he'll be like all coach. Like any coach will watch him and go, "That's my guy. I love him."
Oh man. I mean, that would make me happy if Jakobi Meyers is getting 1,500 yards. I mean, what is Devontae getting? You know what I mean?
I just think Devontae's hurt if that's the case. I think there's a stuff. I don't even want to say what I think happens to Devontae. I mean, it's just there's too many targets, too many other people. Like there's a lot of bad things that happen, and they're playing from behind a lot.
They'd be really bad. You know what I mean? Like
yeah. It's just like no. Jakobi Meyers is like a 800 to 900 yard guy. High touchdowns. He gets in the end zone. The guy gets in the end zone. First downs all day. Run blocker. Everybody loves him. Type guy. That's where he needs to be.
All right. So Raiders Rebel. He thinks all 8 Raiders picks make the roster.
I don't know that I disagree at all, actually.
Okay.
Who gets cut? Devonshire?
Yeah.
Okay, that would be the only one.
He's playing okay in camp, though, too.
That's what I mean. And they haven't signed the veteran corner yet. So it's kind of like you got to round out the back end of that group. I think Trey Taylor makes this team.
Yeah.
Everybody else, who you cut
You might
after
be right.
that?
You might be right. You might be right there.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Oh, can Blaze play left guard? I don't think so. I don't know.
No, I think he's a tag. He's just got that long arm. I feel like that's where he needs to be as a tackle, a swing tackle. Mm-hmm.
I like this comp for him, and I really, honestly, I feel like that's where Josh.
Who was it? It
McDaniels
was
Dave
Trey
Ziegler.
Flowers. Was that the comp for Tyree Wilson? Yeah, which you don't draft Trey Flowers 7th overall, but Trey Flowers is a very good player. I just think Tyree, I just need to see that nastiness. He's bigger and stronger than the guy he's going against a lot of times. And there was that clip of him in preseason. I know it's preseason where he just destroyed that Dallas tackle and he didn't know what to do after because he killed the guy so bad. And it's like, man, just Bobby Boucher every once in a while, just like you're bigger, stronger, and faster. Just bowl that guy over and make the play. And it's year 2. We'll see. I just didn't see it mentally from him. And that was kind of the issue where it's like, you're massive. Like this has to work unless you don't want it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What other questions we got here? So before we get to the next one, did all the rookies make it last year?
I think so. I'm trying to think. To be honest, their 7th round picks are escaping me last year. I think.
Wilson,
yeah.
Mayer, Tucker. Who's the 4th round?
This is. I mean, it's probably something I should actually Google, but
we should probably know this, right?
Yeah. It's been a long week at work, dude. Yeah. Let's see. All right. Did these guys make the team? All right. Introducing the Raiders draft class. Nesta Jade Silvera.
Yeah, he made the team. Aiden was the 4th round pick. Aiden's the 4th round pick. And Jakobi Meyers.
Chris Smith, who might not make the team this year. Chris Smith. Okay. Amari Burney might not make the team this year. In fact, I would imagine Amari Burney probably doesn't make the team this year. But then, Jacorian Bennett he might start for this team this year. Trey Tucker, Aiden. I tell you, Dave Ziegler was not a bad drafter. I'm just gonna say it right now. He was not bad at drafting.
He wasn't though. He wasn't.
There are some key components to the team this year that are Dave Ziegler draft picks. That's all I'm saying.
He just had the worst leader as a head coach that you could ever have.
His free agency was not good. Chandler Jones, Jimmy Garoppolo, Robert Spillane's great. I mean, Robert Spillane's really good. Jakobi Meyers is good. I mean, he did have some hits. Don't get me wrong.
Because to be fair, I really feel like Jimmy Garoppolo is Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, no, I agree. But you're the GM. You have to say, like, how about I get you a good quarterback?
So how about I get you a good one?
What if we got you a good quarterback?
You got to be an alpha like John Lynch, though. But like, I'm taking Trey
Lance. That's what I'm saying. You like, at what point do you go like, this is my livelihood instead of my friend from John Carroll University? Like, this is my livelihood. This is my reputation that I'm judged on. When do you decide that? And that was my issue with him.
I don't know. I feel like if Kyle Shanahan didn't know that John Lynch used to take people's helmets off, maybe he doesn't, he fights back a little hard.
Ziegler's not as intimidating as John Lynch. Kyle Shanahan cannot beat up John Lynch.
You know what I mean? He can't,
no, I agree.
No, John, I don't want to do that.
But I'll say this. Tom Telesco can't beat up Antonio Pierce. But Tom Telesco appears to just do his thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Tom Telesco, I mean, I'm just gonna say right now, I would have Antonio Pierce as plus or as minus 3,200 over. He would have to slip on something like SpongeBob at the Salty Spittoon.
Exactly.
Yeah, it would be all bad. I just mean, all I'm saying is Ziegler brought in talent to this team like that in 2 years. And if Parham makes the switch to right guard and is good, he's brought in some starters to this team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do wonder what is Chandler Jones doing right now?
I don't know. Antonio Brown kind of took his spot on retired NFL player. I mean, these guys were all Raider connections, but Antonio Brown's been doing the
yeah.
And Chandler Jones, I hope he's okay. I don't hate the guy. There's clearly something happening there.
Oh, he deleted all his socials. Yeah,
something something bad happened with him. That family, both of the athletes in that family have their issues. So
yeah, for sure. All right, Dylan Lobby, bro. Dylan Lobby is making a name for himself. He is basically already took Amir Abdul's job. I mean, it's basically
for sure
already happened.
It's not even close. I don't think.
You think it's close anymore? So it's gonna be interesting to see how his growth comes in. There's a lot of hype around him. I think he's gonna get a lot of work in the preseason. Try to see where he's at exactly right now. But yeah, he's getting a lot of buzz, man. Dylan Lobby is really making a name for himself in this preseason. He's really kind of showing that he can take advantage of Amir Abdullah. One thing I noticed that Tony Pierce talked about was his blocking, which that was my big thing. He can block better than Amir Abdullah. So that's gonna kind of separate him from him, right? I mean, Abdullah's only way to make this football team is this new freaky kickoff because you need a running back. I feel like I was watching that kickoff the other day. You need a running back there, or it's not really gonna work with a wide receiver who doesn't have the vision to kind of be patient, do kind of stop and change speeds. It ain't gonna work. So that's the only way Abdullah is gonna make this football team is finding a way to get back on this kickoff, or this crazy ass kickoff that they got. But yeah, Lobby is really basically taking his spot. And even when you look at it from the perspective of like, what is Abdullah even on this team? He's older, he's not that type of player. He might end up getting taken out, but they probably still want to end up keeping 4 running backs. So who's gonna be that next guy? And I think we're gonna find that out in preseason.
I think you're right, and I think Lobby ends up being. I've been saying it since he got drafted. I think he's the kick returner on this team. I just a thought. We'll see what happens in the preseason games. That is a complete guess on my part because it's a completely new rule and a new formation in the NFL. But I'm really excited about him because there's just certain guys that have that 3rd and 7. I'll get you the first down. The play breaks down, and I kind of think Lobby might be that guy. And he could just make a guy miss. And you hear him talk. He's just so happy to be here, but he's also got this like crazy determination. He just has that classic late round small school running back guy that is going to do whatever, like that Rex Burkhead, that those guys that end up scoring 3 touchdowns in a game randomly. He's really impressive. And like I said, when they brought him in, he had a kind of a hype machine around him, people that actually watched him, and certain guys just have it. And I think he might have it. And I don't know what the ceiling is for him. I'm not going to say it's McCaffrey like some fans. I'm not going to say it's Austin Eckler, although I do think he's in that mold of Austin Eckler. And I think that's what Telesco saw. But he's just one-on-one with he said it in his conference. He goes, when I'm matched up one-on-one with a linebacker, I'm not going to lose. He said that as a 5th round, 6th round pick.
Yeah.
He said that today out of New Hampshire. He was like, I'm not going to lose to a linebacker. And the Raiders are missing that a little bit. It's just that like 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. And they give that up. Back in the day, they used to give that up all the time to those little pesky running backs. So I'm hoping he's that guy.
Yeah. And, he did talk about he's more of a receiving back, and that's what I think he is right now.
He knows what he is.
He knows what he is. So I think they got to kind of keep him in that position right now. But yeah, you can find ways to get him the football. I think you can be creative with getting him the football and do a lot of different things. I'm not going to fully say he's Christian McCaffrey, but some of the things that Kyle Shanahan was doing with Christian McCaffrey last year, you could do with Dylan Lobby.
Exactly.
You could do like the late motions and get him a 1-on-1 on a deep route. You could do all those things with him. It's just more about, can you give him the ball for carries, which I'm not too sure about right now. So we'll see how he looks in the preseason. That's where he's got to kind of show himself. He's got to be able to show he can do more of that, where he's actually carrying the football and being more of a running back than just a straight up receiving back. That's kind of where his growth in the NFL is going to be. But like right now, he can catch the football. He looks pretty good out there. I think he has a chance to kind of see maybe Amir Abdullah not make this football team, but still that also means another running back has to step up, and that's what we're going to see in the preseason. Is it going to be Brenton Brown, or is it going to be Sincere McCormick? Or I did see a question about Cam Akers. We get to that in a second. Or it could be somebody else. So they still feel like they need another running back. We'll see.
I feel like they need one because what Laube does is not. That's an independent thing from what I think the Raiders need. It's a very valuable thing. I think on third down when you have Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, Devontae Adams, and Dylan Laube, I'm like that's if that works the way I think it's going to work, and there's a lot of unknown there. That's tough to defend, but they're going to need the running back to get yards and just be a competent running back, and that's not Laube right now to hand the ball to him 20, 25 times a game. So we'll see. We'll see. That's going to have to hash out in preseason. It's actually an easier position to pick up on a camp cut than anything else because teams do get rid of like competent running backs quite often just because an embarrassment of riches or whatever. And I hope that they're able to do that because I don't love their running back room right now.
Yeah. I mean, Khalil Herbert was playing pretty late in that game yesterday. And I really like Khalil Herbert.
A lot of people are saying Israel Abanikanda. I hope I'm saying his name right. He was the pit back. I really liked him in the draft. I know he got hurt in the Jets when they were on Hard Knocks, but he's another guy. But again, I'd like to go get a veteran. There's a lot of young guys there. I'd like to go get like I really wanted them to sign Dante Foreman this offseason. That really would have rounded out that room. I know he's not this amazing household name or anything, but that would have really rounded out that group. But yeah, Khalil Herbert, I'm with you on that. He's a little bit more of a shifty speed guy though, right?
Yeah, but he kind of fits with. I mean, he played with Getsy before.
Yeah, true.
Familiar with him, and he really fits the wide zone game. That's what he ran in Virginia. That's what he ran pretty well with Getsy, and I still think he's a pretty damn good running back. Like he might not be like the receiver running back, but if you have Zamir White, you have Khalil Herbert, and you have Dylan Laube, I feel okay with that. That's a pretty damn good running back room. I like him better than Madison. Let's just say that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Madison just doesn't spark any joy for me. I mean, I don't know. I've watched him for a long time since he's been in the league, and it's just I don't see a guy that creates things out of him. Like it just has to be blocked perfectly, and he's had some fumbling issues, and I don't know. Apparently, they're seeing something good out of him, and the beat reporters are seeing him move a little different than the other guys. But that running back room just troubles me a little bit. I'm just not ready to just put it all on Zamir White right now. I liked what I saw at the end of the year, but man, he was bad before that.
Yeah. Shout out my dude Justin Churchill. He does Raiders for A to Z Sports. Go ahead, check him out. Follow him.
Shout out
him. But let's get some of these questions before we get to my next topic is. I think it's wide receivers or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Let's get some questions here. What is your impression of Anthony Brown, even though he isn't throwing against the ones? Now, Glenn, I hope you're ready for this. Are you ready for Anthony Brown preseason hype? Are you ready?
Yeah, I think he's going to have a few huge plays in the preseason. The problem is are they going to play 4 quarterbacks in the preseason?
I don't know.
They have an actual battle with Gardner Minshew and O'Connell. So they have to hash that out. And then, you might get fourth quarter Anthony Brown, fourth quarter Carter Bradley. All right. Carter Bradley could be a practice squad guy. I would, that might be where you keep him. Anthony Brown might be your third down. But yeah, I could see him running kind of an option play, taking one to the house. All of Raider Nation, there would be like political things that happen because of it. Like political statements that happen because of it. You've seen Raiders Twitter, it happens. And then people just being like, he should start. It's gonna get crazy. No, I see the big Anthony Brown play, that the Terrell Pryor Steelers play.
Yeah.
Kind of happening. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's gonna lead like 2 touchdown drives.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a storm.
It'll be one like 40-yard touchdown run, and then like a nice seam throw to a tight end. People will go, that is a 10-year vet.
I see it coming, man. I'm ready for it. I'm
It'll happen.
prepared. I'm prepared for those questions. Should Anthony Brown be the starter? I'm prepared for it.
Yeah.
Because I could already. It's starting to brew. I see it on Twitter. People are just a couple of guys are talking about it. It's going to take 2 touchdown drives in the first preseason game, and we're off to the races with the Anthony Brown hype. Yeah.
No, that fourth quarter, man, that fourth quarter preseason, man, it is the ultimate mirage, like it is the ultimate oasis.
Would you take a trade for Trey Lance to take a flyer?
No. He might just suck.
Is he better than Anthony Brown?
No. I don't. I mean, he plays the same role as Anthony Brown right now.
Yeah. See, it's Anthony Brown going to start. See, we already got a question for that. So it's going to rev up. What is the total yards number? I think he's talking about Dylan Lobby.
Okay. Total yards. I mean, I think is going to be the third down back for this team. I could see him having 560 yards this year total.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not basing that off anything. I just swing passes, screen.
Yeah, I can see that. I think he's gonna have more receiving, so and a few running. So I could see that. Yeah, around that number. I wouldn't get too crazy with him, just because I think it's gonna be it's Adam. Adams is gonna get a bunch of targets. So is Bowers. So is Mayer. And honestly, I think Jakobi Meyers is in there now too. So we're gonna see those guys kind of get out of it. Yeah. So what about Zeus over under total yards? What do you think?
I'm hoping combined. I'm all purpose. What would I? So I don't know what the over under is. What I would set it at would probably be 1,000 on the nose. Over, I'm gonna say under, man. I have a weird feeling that they're gonna like bring somebody in who ends up being the feature back on this team. I don't know. It's something's weird about Zamir White. You guys can call me a hater or anything, but I don't know that I'm like the Zamir White guy right now.
Okay,
Zamir White guy. Yeah.
I think Zamir White can get it done, right? And it all depends on whether he could fit into the system. But I think he can get it done. So, right now I would still go around 1,400 if he gets his carries. I don't know how many catches he's going to have. I don't know if he's going to be like over 400 yards catching. So I'm going to go 1,400 for my total yards.
Damn. I mean, it'd be a good season.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad, right? But I don't like how he fits in the system, but I think he's a good enough back where he can get you 4 yards of carry.
What I like about him is he falls forward. Like if it's 3rd and 4 and he gets anywhere near that line, it's converting. I do like that about him. I think there's just going to be vision issues. I think like your tape breakdowns through the year, you're just going to be like, man, Zamir White could have had 180 yards this game rushing, and he had, it wasn't the case. I don't know. I'm willing to be proven wrong. I'm hoping that he does, but I don't know.
All right. Last question so we can get through these topics here. Who has the most touchdowns this year? Who's second? I'm going to go Jakobi Meyers. Most touchdowns.
Dang. Most touchdowns.
I'm going to go Myers and then Adams. And then
I think it's Adams. I think Adams has a huge year this year. He's got that like crazy. He's kind of like insane this year, like a little bit. Like he's really asserting himself. I think this is Adams' team kind of in a way, especially on offense. I think Adams will be the one. I don't hate Myers. He has a nose for the end zone. Just saying, don't sleep on my guy Michael Mayer this year. I just think he's gonna make that leap. I think Bowers is gonna have some big flash plays. I think he's gonna have, especially out of the backfield. Can we talk about that for a second with Bowers? Man, guys rushing 20-yard gains out of the backfield. Come on, when they can't run the ball otherwise, crazy. But I think Adams leads the team in touchdown.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's talk about Nate Hobbs a little bit. There's been some talk about paying Nate Hobbs. I saw this talk a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Paying Nate Hobbs right now because Hobbs has kind of solidified himself. He's had a really great camp. He looked great when I was out there too. He was did a great job against Adams in 1-on-1s. Definitely looks like a lot better. Looks a lot faster. Looks like he's working on his craft. I mean, they have the money to pay guys right now,
Yeah.
but I wonder what they're waiting for. You know,
But
I,
Telesco's new. Telesco's
yeah,
new to the team. I think Telesco wants to see it under his regime. I could see that. They've switched GMs. So let's take a look at guys in the next 2 years that are going to need money. All right. And it's a weird problem to have. We're not used to this as Raider fans. It's kind of odd. And a lot of them are on the defensive side, which we're really not used to.
yeah,
Merrig, right? Merrig will be a guy. Jack Jones next 2 years will be a guy. If Jack Jones asserts himself as a dominant number one core, that pushes Hobbs aside, by the way. If Jack Jones comes out and becomes CB1 for this team, game changer guy, sorry, Nate Hobbs, Jack Jones gets the money. Who else, right? You're going to have Malcolm Kuntz, Robert Spillane. It's a good problem to have. Most teams have this problem. This is new to us. Nate Hobbs is interesting because everybody loves him. He's really good. He's a great personality. He brings an energy to the team that a lot of guys can't. And I think he's the reason the defense plays fast. He's one of the reasons. But what's his contract look like?
yeah.
Slot corners are getting paid right now.
Okay. I just see Kenny Moore got 3 years, $30 million.
I would do that for Hobbs. I would. $10 million a year. I would do. You wouldn't.
No, I would. I just saw this comment: saving money for Dak next year.
I mean, they are thinking about quarterback right now. They are. But this is a defensive team. This is a team that yells at the defense. So they might spend the money on defense too. But would you do that? Would you do 3 years, 30? Let's say he gets above Kenny Moore. Let's say that Kenny Moore is the market and he goes a little bit above. Let's say it's 3 years, 35. Would you do it?
Yeah, because I think you could put some cash into it where you could keep the cap down, right?
I would do that. I would do that. Merrick is the guy I would let go. And it's not even that I don't like Merrick, but I feel like you can replace Merrick better than you could replace Hobbs.
Mm-hmm.
Just
yeah, safety, you can.
And you've been drafting these Polomaus, these Trey Taylors, maybe one of them. Like, there's a reason you get these guys in there. And maybe one of them becomes Hobbs. There's really nobody behind Hobbs.
Yeah. And 3 years, 30 million is not.
No, that's not bad. Once we start getting to the 15 million is like a year type thing is when I'm like, okay, Hobbs somewhere else. That's Jacksonville Jaguars style spending, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's a lot of money for. I mean, he's a slot receiver. He's a slot corner, right? So slot corners. I mean, you see Kenny Moore's price. I don't know how much Mike Hilton's getting. You kind of start thinking about the best slot corners in the NFL. They're not getting 20 million right now. So if he can get like him for 3 years, 30 million, put some cash into it. Part of the guarantees, that cap hit won't come until a couple years from now, right? You can still have that cap to sign whoever you want to sign, and you can keep it low. So I think they have an opportunity to do that, and then have more cap next year to do whatever the hell they want. But they got to dig in Mark Davis's pockets a little bit too. That's
what's he waiting on? What's he waiting on? Mark wants to win. I do agree that Nate Hobbs is become an essential part of this team. If it's around that Kenny Moore salary, I feel confident doing it. The problem is, what are they doing at quarterback? Are they drafting a quarterback? But this team might also be being defensive minded, might think they're a veteran away from winning. But then you also hope you luck into like a CJ Stroud situation where it's like DeMeco Ryans defensive minded head coach gets into CJ Stroud. You hope you're able to find that in the draft. It's tough. It's tough to know what they're going to do at quarterback. What I hope is Aiden O'Connell just comes out and has a really nice year this year, and it's just not a question. Because if that's the case, you have a couple more years of Aiden O'Connell on that contract, and then you have money to pay Nate Hobbs, Malcolm Koonce, and you just run it back with this defense.
Yeah, it's because the thing is, you figure like I got to pay Koonce first, right? And that makes 100% in my brain because it's an edge. He's gonna cost so much damn money. I mean, Michael Parsons acting for 40 fucking million. That's crazy to me. So you got to pay Koonce. If Koonce goes out there,
and Crosby's coming up too.
Yeah, you got to pay Crosby too, right?
Who is the Raiders? Max Crosby is the Raiders right now.
100%. I agree with that. So you got to pay those guys. That's why it's easier to pay like Hobbs at 3-year, $30 million. And Hobbs is going to be good for what he does. He's really good at what he does. If you get him in the right spots, he's really good at it. So I think it's not a bad investment to pay him right now. But you got to figure out Koonce too, and you got to figure out Crosby.
Koonce is more important than Hobbs, in my opinion. I'll say that right now.
Yeah.
To me, this is a defensive line team. This is what they're doing. Tom Coughlin's at practice. Antonio Pierce. They won a Super Bowl with a dominant defensive line. I think the money's going to be pumped into there. And then linebackers will be the developmental position. And then DBs will be the who fits kind of category. Do these people fit? Do they have the mentality? And that might be the more expendable position on this team. This is just my guess.
Yeah. But a slot corner it's not expensive, so I think you could take the time to do that.
You could go get a Mike Hilton, right? A guy like that. I would do it because I think Hobbs is getting better. Like he's not plateauing. Like I feel like he's getting better as he's been in the league. He's fast. He's a good tackler, and they don't have the best tackling in the secondary. He, in my opinion, is the tackler in the secondary. But yeah, again, if Jack Jones comes out and Jack Jones becomes a top corner in the league, which he does have that upside, then you're just like, well, I have to save the money for Jack Jones because that outside corner, you have to have that on lock.
Yeah.
Tough. 100%. It's a great question, and it's a tough call right now. I know I've given like 18 different scenarios. I would pay that Kenny Moore money to Hobbs right now.
I would too.
That's what I would do. I'm just saying there's a lot of things that could happen this year that would say otherwise.
Exactly. All right. Let's get some of these questions and then we get to the next topic here. Is Faison making this roster? He's hurt.
He's hurt, and I don't consider him part of what they do, honestly.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's Bennett, JB, Jacorian Bennett seems like he's the guy right now. Faison, it's like how long do they have him? Look, when injuries hit you, they hit you, and I don't know. Is he part of it? I don't see it. Yeah,
I don't see it either, bro. How good is Andre James going to be in wide zone? A lot better. He will be
good.
He'll be a lot better in wide zone because he won't have to do as much like straight up blocking. He'll be able to use his athleticism because he's athletic first center.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll be able to do those things, and he is a pretty good pass blocker at times. But yeah, he's a solid center. Right? Can you upgrade? Yes. He's basically like Aiden O'Connell at quarterback. So yeah, is Andre James a good center? Yeah. Can you upgrade? Yes. And that's gonna have to look at him, but he'll be a whole lot better in wide zone. A whole lot better. I mean, he played better when they switched to wide zone at the end of the year last year. Yeah, it's gonna work. It's gonna work with him as center. He's got to stay healthy and see what they could do there.
Yeah, Andre James is the center, and right now Jackson Powers Johnson is the guy that maybe you and I thought was going to be the guy that would pop in for him after his contract is up. And right now we have to figure out whether Jackson Powers Johnson is able to just come in and play left guard for the Raiders sooner or later. So right now in that wide zone, again, he gets to get out in space, kind of do what he needs to do, and it's definitely a better system than what he was in. And the team seems to love Andre James. He seems to be one of those. He seems to be one of like the guys on that offense, and I think the team likes him more than even you and I do. But I'm fine with him. It's the snapping. To me, it's always been the weird snaps. It's slow. I feel like it slows the pace down of the offense the way he snaps the ball. I don't know. It could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. Would you flip Adams for Ayuk?
What are the picks? He said and picks. What are the picks? Ayuk in a second, I do it. But I also would be really mad seeing Devontae Adams on the Niners. I'd be pissed.
See, I have this weird take on Brandon Ayuk. I do. I think Ayuk is more Shanahan than people give him credit for. And I know there's like perception, talk about his press. But when I watched Brock Purdy this summer, and I got the AOPA post, I mixed that with TDL. But when I watched Brock Purdy this summer, he just kept getting lined up against safeties. And I'm just thinking, like, would another coordinator do that? Would they be able to get him in these matchups that Shanahan's getting him and making these easy looks for Purdy with this guy who can run routes against off coverage? That's where it gets interesting with Ayuk. A lot of people love him though, and I'm just, it makes you seem like a hater. But I just feel like that Shanahan just did a lot of things to get him open that I don't know if every coordinator would do that. That's my thing with Ayuk.
Yeah, I would not right now at this point. Plus, you have to pay Ayuk. That's the thing. It's like they're already paying Adams. You might as well look at Devontae Adams. I think the players understand what Devontae Adams is. He's a beast. I mean, he's a beast, and this Marcus would trade for Higgins, but not Ayuk. Would you? So Higgins and Higgins straight up. Would you do it? You wouldn't do it.
I would do it.
No, you wouldn't do it. Higgins and picks, that wouldn't be the trade scenario, so that doesn't make sense. No, you wouldn't do it. Devontae is special, and I think that receiver documentary showed you how much that shoulder injury really screwed with him a little bit. I think he still really has that ability to separate. I think he's going to play like a madman this year, and I wouldn't really get rid of him at this point. The time to do it was in the offseason, so at this point, cheaper to keep her, right?
Exactly. How about Corey? Isn't Corey Davis retired? Did he retire?
That's I've been seeing that all day because my big thing with Trey Tucker, I tweeted that today that like Trey Tucker, people are like the Raiders cannot depend on Trey Tucker, and I'm like they're not. He's like wide receiver. He's option 4 on this team, and I think that's fine where he's at. And people are like, we need to bring in Russell Gage. We need to bring in all the Corey Davis. I'm like Corey Davis retired, and second off, I would rather have the younger legs than Trey Tucker right now. Like I think Trey Tucker's able to have 7 or 8 huge plays in the game that those guys are not able to do. So no, I'm good off any of that kind of stuff. I'm hoping that the Wilkersons or Tulu Griffin, who I know has been banged up a little bit, or I'm forgetting the name of the Tennessee receiver who's the undrafted free agent on the Raiders right now. If those guys want to have big preseasons, that's where I'd rather go rather than these kind of like aging veteran guys that just haven't really ever been the guy.
Yeah. I don't know. I like Corey Davis though. I wouldn't mind.
He
Corey
is
Davis
a solid player. So it sounds like he applied for reinstatement.
Oh, he did. Okay, so he's coming back.
I mean, hey, it wouldn't hurt. I mean, I'm not against it. Bring him in. To me, I think people reacted to like 3 or 4 Vic Tafur tweets to decide what their opinion on Trey Tucker was, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah. He's the drops are a little bit concerning, but I we'll see if it goes into the season, then it's a problem because I think most people just remember him like having those drops on the sideline.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those are some big throws, but we'll see, man. Britton Brown, like nobody's talking about Britton Brown. We'll see. Well, Britton Brown, that's what I'm saying. They
He's
gotta
gonna get
make it
looks.
happen in preseason.
He's gonna have an opportunity if he's worth a shit.
Exactly. Kenny Galladay. Is Kenny Galladay still out there? Nobody wants Galladay, huh?
No. What? I haven't heard that name in years.
Yeah, since you get the Giants contract, dude.
I mean, guys, I don't think we're that desperate at receiver. I don't know. We're reaching into the barrel for Kenny Galladay.
Yeah, so that's the question. It's like, because a lot of people do want to add a receiver because we lost Michael Gallup. That's what it is.
But again, that was like a kind of like see what he's got left kind of signing.
Yeah, that is true. But you wonder. Gallup would have been a good fourth receiver. So I think people are trying to see that. But I think Keaton from Tennessee's having a really good camp, though.
Okay, yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I want to see as the guy that emerges. I want to see that, and then also camp cuts happen. Maybe you go find a guy who's got some Getsy connections, a camp cut guy. Like at the end of the year. I don't think it's something you have to address right now.
Yeah. I think you're right, because people talking about Michael Thomas too.
No, he's a slot guy.
Yeah, and he cries too much. Michael Thomas is a
I'm good off Michael. Michael Thomas is like, those are guys who won their fantasy title like 4 years ago with him.
He cries too much. As soon as Aiden O'Connell wouldn't throw the ball to him, he's like, "Man, I'm the best wide receiver in the league." Yeah, I don't want to hear that. So what does Hobbs do that sets him apart? Hobbs is really good in the slot at like tackling, blitzing off the edge, and he covers pretty well in the slot. But he's a zone guy. Don't get me wrong. You play man-to-man with Nate Hobbs, you are in trouble in the long run. But if you play a lot of zone, just like they did with his rookie year, and you play a lot of cover three, you could just kind of let him go and tackle, rally and tackle. And he does that really damn well.
No, and he's
well.
fast. I mean, he is so fast. And I'm telling you, it's an energy thing with that defense. Like when he's out there, like they play off him. You hear the guys talk about him. They play off of him. They have a guy at every level that has that kind of energy. And I think, you have like Spillane at linebacker. You have Hobbs in the secondary who acts as kind of a linebacker in a sense. And then you have Crosby on the defensive line. And I'd like to keep that intact as long as possible.
Yeah. That's what Hobbs does really well, though. He's a beast tackling.
And it splash plays. Like it jumps off. When he does something, you're like, whoa.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's not down to down the way the Hiltons, the Kenny Moores are, but it's like, oh, that got them off the field. That play that Hobbs just made. Oh man, that got the defense off the field.
Yeah, for sure. Marcus, please explain your T. Higgins obsession. So I have explained this. So like I said, I watch every quarterback to like all the time. So during his rookie season with Joe Burrow, I was watching T. Higgins' ball. And then when Joe Burrow got hurt, I kept watching the Bengals because T. Higgins was balling so much. And I was like, man, this guy's going to be really, really good. He's going to be the number one. And then they drafted Jamar Chase. And I was like, and ever since then, I'm okay, he's going to be a Raider.
He's like your Josh Allen.
As soon as it's that day, I remember that day, I'm like, oh, he's a Raider.
He's a lot better than I thought he was coming out. I thought he was slow, like Laquan Treadwell, just slow, but he's an athletic freak. I mean, I didn't love the way that he played in the contract year last year. I think he would have got paid if he played well. That's kind of my issue, is I think by somebody, not necessarily the Bengals. I know the Bengals are in their own quandary right now with paying him, but with Higgins, it's kind of like, he makes huge, like really athletic, crazy plays. I do like him a lot. I would gladly take him as a second receiver, but I mean, you'd have to shuffle some things around to pay him a big contract on this Raiders team. Like a lot of things. Now you get rid of Myers is what you'd have to do, right? And then, but I don't know that Antonio Pierce views T. Higgins as better than Jakobi Meyers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Jakobi Meyers will get in there and block a linebacker. to Antonio Pierce, that's like Jerry Rice.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
I like T. Higgins. I mean, he has surprised me at how
yeah,
good he actually was.
yeah. He can play pretty well, man. What else to say? Before we get to surprise cuts, because I got some other questions. I'm gonna save you guys questions as we get to these questions. Surprise cuts. Who you going with?
Surprise, Divine Diablo still.
Interesting. That's interesting. That's a big one.
Yeah,
that's be a trade, right?
I mean, giving the pick for Divine Diablo. I mean, how good? He's not that good.
Yeah.
Tommy Eichenberg's been balling. I don't know if you've been seeing that.
Yeah, he has been balling.
Divine Diablo is not tethered to this staff at all. I'm picking a surprise, right? The thing that would surprise you, Divine Diablo being cut.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be surprising as hell. To be honest, that's a good one. Mine, now that I think about either Divine Diablo, Luke Masterson.
I'd be pissed because it should be Divine Diablo.
I'm just saying. So that's a good one right there, right? Because I was trying to think like a wide receiver or something like that, but who would be surprised there? But that would be like a surprise because Darren Butler's with the team, but it'd have to be like Amari or somebody like that. So maybe I don't know. Because I want to go Chris Smith. But is that a surprise?
It's not a surprise. It's a 6th-round pick from last year.
I saw if they cut Parham.
Surprise cut is like a damn. Like I cannot believe they did that. Chris Smith, nobody would you would not lose sleep over Chris Smith being cut. Divine Diablo would be like, whoa, they're doing something crazy at linebacker.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have to. I just saying, like Harrison Bryant, maybe, or like somebody like that, like somebody. Like somebody that you expect to make this team.
Yeah, because that's what's so hard with this team right now. Because because you had a good one. Divine Diablo is a good one. I'm just trying to think of somebody that actually would actually get cut. Because Chris Smith, that's not really a surprise. People are making fun of me.
They have some safeties. Really. Yeah, they have safeties that are better.
That's not really
than him.
Surprised. Man, I don't know.
People keep saying Parham. That would be a surprise.
If Parham gets cut, we are in trouble. The Raiders are in trouble. Like you can't even put the energy out there because if he gets cut, I don't know what we're gonna do. What are we doing at guard?
Yeah, Madison's another one. I don't think he's gonna get cut. Madison's another one, but I could see it if they found somebody better.
People are saying Cody Whitehair, but I mean, I feel like
Getsy will keep him around. But it would be a surprise. It would be slightly a surprise. I just mean you gotta really rattle the table. You gotta really shake the table with these cuts. Like it can't be a 6th-round pick from 2 years ago.
John Jenkins.
Yeah, see, I can't see that coming, so that would be a surprise.
John Jenkins is a good one.
If Nessa James Silvera is balling out, is that would be the scenario?
It's more because Byron Young is actually having a good camp. We haven't talked about Byron Young.
We got a question about Byron Young. What do you make of that? He's good now. He's playing good ball.
But that's what I mean.
I agree. No, that's a little seed. Plant the seed. No, I agree. Epps wouldn't be it. I see Epps in the comment. I don't think they're cutting Marcus.
That would be crazy. But John Jenkins.
But it would be crazy if they did. Yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm.
I think John Jenkins might be the surprise cut. Just because he's been injured. I know
he's
they
old.
Really
he's
like
35 years old.
But if Young has a damn good preseason, right, and they kind of mix it up, that could be the guy. That could be the surprise guy. If they cut out, I see somebody out. If they cut Adam Butler.
They're not going to cut Adam Butler. They love Adam Butler.
I would throw something at the wall.
I'd be mad.
John Jenkins might be it. He might be it.
That's a great call. So our official picks are going to be Divine Diablo and John Jenkins, and those are 2 surprises. I agree. Those are 2 surprise cuts.
Yeah.
Chris Smith is not a surprise cut. I expect him to be cut.
All right. Let's see me get some more questions before we get out of here, man. So this is an interesting question. I saw this. People are arguing about this online. Geno Smith. What are your
What about
thoughts
it?
as a quarterback next year, Geno Smith? If this is something,
I wouldn't be like in love with it. I'd rather have Dak because I think Geno's gonna get like not that much less than Dak.
yeah.
Like, so the market's inflated, right? You did an episode on little pocket awareness, like you did a little episode about how that market's inflated. So it's like I wouldn't let 10 mil. I think Dak is better than Geno Smith,
Mm-hmm.
and if that's the market that they're tapping into, to me, I would take Dak over Geno Smith. I don't think Geno's that good.
Yeah, see, Gino is good like pre-snap, so like like you can get away with like Geno Smith because a lot of teams, if you have a good running game, a lot of teams are going to try to trick him. But if they start trying to trick him, it's over. He'll start throwing interceptions.
That's
So
what I mean.
that's the
There's a lot of bonehead Geno Smith plays.
yeah,
And I feel like he's coming from a place of they're coming from different origin stories. Dak Prescott, the 4th round pick, comes in, replaces Tony Romo, and is immediately expected to win Super Bowls. Whereas Geno Smith is the flamed out in New York, taken a little bit higher, had a redemption story with Seattle so he could do kind of no wrong. And it's like, I feel like Dak's just way better than him, but they're
yeah,
coming from different narratives.
yeah, yeah. Because Geno Smith, a lot of people are trying to knock him. I think he's still he's a decent starting NFL quarterback. I just think like
Yeah, not terrible. Not terrible. Yeah.
he's not terrible. I just think like once teams start focusing on him, which I think they did this year, and they start trying to confuse him, you kind of see that he is more just like a pre-snap guy where I'm gonna read a pre-snap, and if it stays that way, I'm gonna tear you up. But if it changes, like teams start changing the picture on you, it's not gonna look as good. And that's what separates uh like a really good quarterback from a great quarterback is when the picture changes after you think it's gonna change, what can you do? And that's where I saw him film like that he wasn't that good. But he has some talent though, but it's just yeah, I wouldn't mess with it, probably, in my opinion.
No, I just wouldn't be because Geno Smith would get $45 million from the Raiders.
Yeah.
That's what it would be. It's not about would you take Geno Smith as your starting quarterback next year. He's not getting the Gardner Minshew deal. Unless
Yeah.
he's, I mean, I know he's hurt right now, and it doesn't sound like he's going to miss time. But if he just like flames out in Seattle, but at that point, do you want to take him after he flames out in Seattle? And to me, I wouldn't be excited about the Dak Prescott acquisition, but he would make the team a lot better. I think he's better, but gets hated on more than Geno Smith. Whereas Geno Smith is in Seattle, where it's like, oh man, Seattle, Whereas Dallas, where you play is different. I kind of hope they're not in the scenario where they're just deciding between those two guys next year.
Yeah, I mean, because the thing was with Dak, like, and I know people don't like Dak, but like, I mean, Dak at least makes the playoffs every year, right? For the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And and that's the thing. Like, if he becomes a Raiders quarterback, they would make the playoffs. Like, as a Raiders fan, and I was telling my Antonio on Twitter, like, what if he breaks through though with the Raiders? And that could be the thing. Like, he's changing scenarios, and then he breaks through that little playoff drought that he has.
Yeah,
with the Raiders. That is a possibility.
I would gamble on that before I would gamble on Geno Smith. This is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
For more money. For more money. I would do it.
Because that's the gamble. Because, like, yeah, if he might have playoff problems, but then he gets a new scenario, and then all of a sudden he just has that 1 year, he just rolls through. And then we're like, yay, go Dak. And then
Dak just getting out of that Dallas, you need to win, like we're this like New York Yankees kind of situation where you have eyes on you all the time, whereas you come to Vegas, like we don't make the playoffs that often, 2 times in the last 20 years. You come here, you make the playoffs, maybe there's less pressure. That's not where I want to be next year. But if they are, I would say Dak.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. Because, Matthew Stafford might be available too.
Yeah. Stafford is Favre, man. Stafford could do a Favre situation.
To be honest, I take Stafford over Dak. I would.
Stafford is nasty. I mean, he's not. Problem is, you got a back injury waiting to happen. He gonna snap. He got a plywood back, dude. That's the problem with Stafford. Is like, and he'll hold that football. He can't play different.
Yeah. Yeah. Why do people don't think Dak can't make the playoffs? They've had like the number one offense.
He makes
like
the playoffs
every
all
year.
The time. He makes
the number one offense like 3 years.
That's what I'm saying. Like he balls out. Like he ball. It's never the issue of the regular season with Dak Prescott.
Yeah. No, because Stafford he's on a 1 year, $40 million deal. They only he has 1 year left.
And McVay might decide he wants to broadcast after this year. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean?
McVay, he lost Aaron Donald last year. Like the Rams could just straight up fall apart after this year.
Yeah, because Dak's just the money, man.
It's a lot of money, but the problem is Geno Smith is like 10 million less, which is even more egregious to me. That's my problem. Is like then the like the ultra mid becomes high overpaid. Whew. I'd rather pay the extra mid rather than the ultra mid. You know?
Yeah. All right, guys.
What a talk. We spanned many subjects.
We got almost 450 in here today, man. Too.
They've been going crazy. I have to say this as somebody who used to talk to nobody back in the day about the Raiders when I would just cry after losses. This is kind of dystopian Philip K. Dick style, like science fiction to me. Like it's kind of crazy that people like tune in. I love it. I love talking to you. You and I have been, we've been doing this for a long time with each other, but like the fact that people tune in and are just like, yeah, man, this is sick. I'm like, there's some poetic justice that has happened.
So I appreciate all you guys came in here today, man. Shout out to all you guys, man. Like I said, we almost got 450 in here. So I mean, definitely shout out to you guys. But we're out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And check out all the episodes that we got, and we're gonna keep giving you guys all this good information. So we're out of here. Peace.